How's it going, everyone? Landon with LMR.com. In this video, I'll briefly discuss our T-top weather strip selection and of course, provide everyone a general walkthrough on how to replace their T-top weather strip. The T-top option on Fox Mustangs was offered from 1981 to 1988, and in typical Ford fashion, they had 3 different year breaks throughout the T-top era. Now these year breaks are going to include 81 to 84 in cars built before October of 1983, 84 to 86 with the 84 cars being built from October of 1983, and of course the last year break was 1987 to 1988. The breakdown in lengths are as follows. The 81 to 84 cars had a 38-inch A-pillar weather strip length, 84 to 86 cars had a 26-inch A-pillar length, and 87 to 88 cars had a 30-inch A-pillar length. Now with further research of T-top cars, we found that early 1981 to 1982 T-top cars had a weird 23-inch overall weather strip length, so it's probably going to be in your best interest to pick up the kit intended for the 84 to 86 cars. All the other weather stripping and components related to the T-top cars is the exact same, thank goodness. 5.0 Resto's T-top weather strip kits include all of the weather strip associated with the body side of the car and of course the top of the glass. These pieces involve the left and right hand T-top to body weather strips, left and right hand T-top glass to door glass weather strips, 2 latch handle seals, a row of body to C-channel foam tape, and of course 16 rivets to reattach your front and rear T-top roof moldings. All of this weather strip is manufactured from OE-grade EPDM rubber, so it's going to live up to a long service life, and it's also all sold in individual components. Of course, the T-top latch handle seals are constructed from foam, along with the foam tape, and the beaded felt weather strips are metal reinforced just like the factory for added structure. When replacing the T-top weather strip, it's also going to be in your best interest to replace the door to body weather strips as well. They are available separately, and you're going to need to trim those to fit. Before you replace your T-top weather strip, you will need an assortment of tools and supplies to get the job done. The tools and supplies include a nice rivet gun, plastic scrapers and pry tools, paint-safe adhesive remover, a good weather strip adhesive, black silicone rubber, rust preventive paint for anyone that may have concern with rusting, some Scotch-Brite pads, trim paint, some microfiber and shop towels for cleanup, a vacuum, compressed air, razor blades, some 1/4-inch butyl tape, alcohol, bar clamps, a soft mallet, and of course a few other common hand tools. Before I begin, I want to make note of a few things. This 86 Capri we're going to be doing the work on is without a doubt a work in progress. You guys will see several things that will need to be addressed with this car. We'll eventually get to them, but for this video, we're going to be talking about T-top weather strip replacement. Now, depending on how detailed you want to be and of course your overall experience with intricate weather stripping, this process could take you more than a day to complete. More than likely, it is going to cause some frustration, so just take your time and work through any hiccups that you might run across. One additional item that will be very beneficial prior to installation of these components is our T-top repair guide. This thing is packed full of quality information, tips, and tricks for all things related to the T-top Fox bodies. Now, before you begin installing your T-top weather strip and its related components, if you have an interior that you're proud of, I would recommend putting some drop cloth over anything you don't want to get dusty or dirty. This job can and will be messy. Go ahead and remove the T-top glass from both sides. Remove the frontward plastic trim. It's held in place with 3 Phillips head screws. Remove the rearward trim as well. It's also held in place with 3 Phillips head screws. Beginning at the A-pillar, remove the weather strip from the C-channel. Work your way up the A-pillar and then around the T-top opening. Remove the weather strip from the B-pillar and then dislodge the push pin. Do this for the other side. Locate and carefully drill out all of the rivets securing the felt weather strip and the frontward roof molding. Use an 1/8-inch drill bit to drill out all of the rivets. There are going to be 4 rivets on the passenger side of the molding and 4 rivets on the driver's side of the molding. Be careful not to drill too aggressively and be mindful of the surrounding areas. Remove the old felt weather strip with a plastic pry tool, then remove the molding. This can also come off as one piece and then you can remove the felt off of the car. Whichever way works perfectly fine. Repeat all these steps for the rearward roof molding. On the A-pillar, remove the screws retaining the C-channel to the body of the car. Remove the channel from the car and then do this for the B-pillar C-channel as well. For this particular job, I'll be replacing the door-to-body weather strips as well. A few of these steps will differ depending on the year of your car and if the door-to-bodies run the entire length of both the A and B pillars. Full-ride cars will need to remove the dash in order to remove the A pillar. This is secured with 5 screws across the front of the dash and 4 screws located in the corners of the windshield defrost provisions. Once these are removed, bring the dash up and then set it aside. Remove any attaching screws securing the A pillar trim. Carefully dislodge the clips from the frontward headliner trim plate. This can easily bend, so just be mindful of that. Remove the A pillar trim. This car is missing the kick panel and the scuff plate. These will need to be removed as well. Loosen and remove any screws that retain the rear interior quarter panel closest to the door opening. Loosen the T50 Torx bolt securing the seat belt to the car and then carefully lay it down. This will give you enough room to carefully pry back the interior rear quarter panel to remove the door-to-body weather strip. At this time, you can go ahead and remove the door-to-body weather strip. Make note of its position on the body so you can cut the new one to the correct length if you're going to be reinstalling it the way you found it. Go ahead and do the same for the other side. If you're wanting to address the frontward roof rail molding, simply remove the screw and gently pull out to remove it from the car. This can be scuffed and painted along with the rest of the moldings. Now is the time to thoroughly clean all of the areas of dirt, debris, old silicone, and old adhesive. Depending on how involved and detailed you want to get, this can take quite a bit of time. I started out by vacuuming the T-top area to remove the bulk of the debris. Compressed air will help to dislodge any loose debris as well. Okay, here we go. Carefully scrape any large pieces of adhesive and/or silicone and then vacuum it up. Once the T-top assembly is clean, thoroughly clean the C-channels as well. If you're replacing the door-to-body weather strips, don't forget to clean this area. Remove the old foam padding from the C-channels and any existing silicone rubber and set these aside. To keep with the theme of disassembly and cleanliness, go ahead and remove the 2 screws securing the T-top latch assembly trim to the T-top glass. Pass the trim over the handle and set it aside. Loosen and remove the 2 small Phillips head screws that retain the weather strip to the C-channel. Remove the old weather strip. Like in other areas, clean any existing adhesive and/or silicone from both the C-channel and the glass. Go ahead and do this for the other T-top glass. Inspect the foam sill. If you think yours is still in good condition, simply leave it alone. If it needs to be replaced, remove the foam if it's still there and then lightly scuff the surface. Do this for the other latch assembly trim, and this will prepare the trim for the installation of the new seal. We'll come back to this toward the end of the install. At this time, you can inspect and address any areas that may be showing signs of abrasions or rust. More than likely, you'll have to address a few of these areas. Clean away any rust and then paint these areas with a black rust-preventive paint. Be sure and allow the paint adequate time to dry. While our front and rear T-top assembly molding were removed from the car, I took the time to thoroughly paint these as well. This simply involves scuffing each molding with a scuff pad, wiping them down with a wax and grease remover, and then spraying them in the correct color. Since I'm working on a Capri, the correct exterior color is SVO gray. All other applications will be trim black. Paint the frontward roof rail moldings if you removed yours. All of these components were then set aside to properly dry. Because the center bar on the T-top assembly requires removal of the headliner to access, I prepped it for paint while it was still on the car and then masked the surrounding area. A few coats of paint did the trick, and then the masking was removed. During all of this, I took a wire brush to all of the Phillips head screws that retain the C-channels. They were prepped for paint and then painted using trim black. Using the provided foam tape, install it to the back sides of all 4 C-channels. Cut it to length and then firmly press the tape to the channel to ensure proper adhesion. If you're installing new door-to-body weather strips, go ahead and install them at this time. Again, I've seen the door-to-bodies installed 2 different ways during the 81 to 88 era. They either stopped at the ends of the A and B pillar weather strip, or they ran the entire length of both the A and B pillar. Not sure which one is correct, but per the T-top service procedure from Ford, they stopped at the ends of the main T-top weather strip. If you're going this route, you'll have to pre-install the T-top to body weather strip and determine where you need to make your cut. In each package will be a roll of round foam padding. This is used to fill any void in the main weather strip. If needed, cut 2 1 3/4 pieces. These will install into the horizontal slit at the top of the B pillar side. Push them all the way into the opening and towards the leading edge of the weather strip. For the A pillar portion, Tape the foam pad to a device that can feed the padding through the weather strip. I simply use an old electric wire. Bring the padding through the end of the weather strip until it can be fed through the horizontal slit at the top. Bring it through and then cut the padding to length. Tuck it back into the weather strip. Of course, be sure and cut the weather strip to length at the other end as well. Cut the door to body weather strip to length and then install it onto the pinch weld. Fully seat the weather strip with the palm of your hand or a soft mallet. Verify that it fully seats whenever it comes to the corners. With the door to bodies in place, reinstall the roof rail molding if you remove yours to paint it. Before installing the C-channels, fill any unused holes with butyl. When reinstalling the C-channel, simply poke a screw through the foam tape. Align the correct channel into place and then loosely tighten the screw. Start the rest of the screws and then fully tighten them down. Do this for all of the C-channels. At this time, you can fill any open areas around the T-top assembly and C-channels with butyl. A pry tool will help push the butyl into any openings and mold it to properly fill these areas. Turning my attention back to the front and rear roof moldings, align the beaded felt weather strips with the old weather strip and then trim them to length. Be sure and add a relief cut so that the weather strips properly contour to the bend in each of the moldings. Peel back the adhesive backing and install the beaded felt weather strip to each molding. Ensure the top of the bead is flush with the top of the molding. Firmly press the weather strip onto the molding to ensure a proper bond. Carefully poke a hole into the weather strip to mark each hole in the molding. Of course, do this for each molding. Before installing these moldings, lay down a 1/4 inch bead of butyl tape where the T-top assembly meets the roof of the car. This is for both the front and the rear portions on the roof. Ensure that it runs the entire length of the roof on both the front and rear. Position the rearward molding onto the car. Align the rivet holes and then widen each existing hole so that the provided rivets will easily pass through. Starting at the corner, position one of the rivets into place. Pass the rivet gun over the mandrel on the rivet. Ensure that the rivet is pressed up against the felt and then squeeze the handle on the rivet gun until the mandrel breaks away. Repeat this for the other 7 rivets that secure the rearward molding to the T-top assembly. Once that's finished, you can repeat these same steps for the frontward molding. Do your best to make sure the rivets that run the length of the T-top channel are flush. Because of the tight working area, it's difficult to get the head of the rivet gun perfectly parallel with the molding. Now it's time to install the main T-top weather strip. These are going to be size specific and you'll know pretty quick if you have the correct one. I find it easiest to start at the B pillar. Align the push pin with the hole in the body and then push the little push pin into place. Use a pry tool and carefully seat the weather strip into the C channel. Work your way around the T-top opening and towards the A pillar. Ensure that the weather strip fully seats into the A pillar C channel as well. Roll back the ear closest to the B pillar. Apply some black silicone rubber to the ear of the weather strip. Position the ear back into place and keep pressure on this portion with an adjustable bar clamp. Be sure not to squeeze too hard. You just want to apply a light clamp load with the bar clamp. Do the same for the frontward ear near the A pillar. You can go ahead and do the same for the other side. Of course, allow adequate time for the silicone rubber to fully cure. In the meantime, you can address the latch handle foam seals. I would recommend a clear type epoxy that is safe for both plastic and foam materials. Apply an 1/8 inch bead of the adhesive to the opening around the latch handle. Align the foam seal and firmly press with your fingers to ensure a good adhesion. Do this for the other latch seal if it's needed. Once the silicone rubber has cured around the ears on the main weather strip, turn your focus to the T-top glass weather strip. These are going to be size specific as well, so pay attention before you rip open the package. You'll first want to temporarily install the weather strip into the C channel. Fully seat it with the plastic pry tool. Once seated, install the T-top glass back onto the car. Remember, you have new weather strip, so this could be a little difficult to fully latch. Now that it's latched, verify the position of the weather strip. Make sure that it touches the main weather strip on both sides. If there is a gap on one side of the weather strip or it's deformed from contact, remove the glass and adjust the weather strip accordingly. Whenever it's adjusted, verify that it's fully seated into the C channel. Roll back one of the ears and apply black silicone rubber. Position it onto the glass and then use an adjustable bar clamp to hold it into place. Evenly spread the silicone rubber around the entire ear with your finger. Do the same for the other ear. Like the main weather strip, the clamps don't have to be super tight. Allow the silicone rubber to properly cure. Remove the clamps, reinstall and retighten the 2 small screws. Position the latch trim into place and reinstall the retaining screws. You can go ahead and do this for the other T-top glass. Go ahead and reinstall any of your interior components that were either positioned out of the way or removed during installation. Reinstall the headliner seals or replace them with brand new ones. If you replace these, be mindful that they are going to be trimmed to fit. I replaced the T-top trim caps as well because ours had definitely seen better days. Reinstall the T-top glass and of course make adjustments as needed. Remember fellas, the T-top assembly and its associated components weren't even perfect from Ford. So just keep that in mind when you go about replacing all of your weather strip. After that, you're good to go. Whew. Replacing T-top weather strip is definitely an involved process, but like most things restoration related, it's extremely satisfying once you package it all together. Be mindful that the T-top glass may be a little difficult to latch because of the new rubber. This, of course, is completely normal. If you did pick up the T-top book, it does explain window alignment and T-top leak testing. It's an inexpensive item and totally worth the investment. Other restoration items that might interest you, aside from the T-top book and the door-to-body weather strips, are the headliner retainer strips and, of course, the T-top trim cap kit. Now for the most current product pricing and information on everything that you might have seen in this video, be sure and check out the product pages. To see more how-to and review videos covering industry-leading products, be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this video, and don't forget to turn on notifications. While you're at it, check out our other videos, and of course for all things 1979 to present Mustang and SVT Lightning, keep it right here with the Real Enthusiasts, LMR.com.